All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Asif. I'm joined with Peter, and this is our presentation on food in Judaism. So, like the other Abrahamic religions, food plays a major role in the religious life of practicing Jews. There are things like food laws, and there are many holiday traditions that surround eating, fasting, and many other food rituals. So the laws I was talking about, the Jewish dietary laws, these can be found in the Torah, which specifically outlines what foods can and cannot be eaten. You may have heard the term kosher before if you've been to a grocery store. Kosher refers to clean or permitted foods in the Jewish dietary laws. For example, certain animals, such as pork, are not permitted to be eaten under any circumstances, so no pork dishes at all. And this can be compared to another Abrahamic religion, Islam, where pork is also considered to be haram or forbidden. And contrary to popular belief, kosher food is not simply food that is blessed by a rabbi. It's food that goes through a process of approval based on the kosher laws. So, what is considered kosher? I found this infographic on online that I found to be very good at summarizing the kosher laws. So basically, animals like cows, goats, sheep, animals that chew its cud and has split hooves are kosher. As you can see, the domesticated species and the certain types of fish are considered kosher. But the animals that are not kosher include animals such as pigs, rabbits, kangaroos, scavenger birds, and various types of shellfish. Also, in the dietary law restrictions, there can be no meal where meat and dairy is mixed together. So these foods, for example, can include like a cheeseburger or a pepperoni pizza. So people that follow these kosher laws can't eat those foods. And why? Why do the Jewish people follow all these laws? So there's no main scientific or health reason as to why kosher food is bad to eat necessarily. However, many view kosher foods to be naturally cleaner as a result of more guidelines and more care that goes into the preparation. And Jewish people specifically follow these kosher rules to fulfill their covenant with God. So the people follow the rules and commandments laid out in the Torah in order for God to give something in return, his blessings, life, and sustainability of the planet, that sort of thing. And included in the rules and commandments of the Torah are the kosher laws. And as we've seen in our module, in I think it was module 3 on authority, there are different denominations of Judaism. The Orthodox Jews choose to follow the rules in the Torah more strictly than Reform Jews, and as such, they tend to follow the kosher laws more strictly and would follow the rules more precisely. So, in today's modern society, as we all know, food is mass produced and highly processed globally. And in order to maintain the kosher laws in this global food environment, there are organizations that specifically go around and certify kosher foods. These organizations go around and they make sure that people are following the correct kosher guidelines for slaughtering animals and preparation of the meat. And an interesting fact is that kosher salt is named so because the salt crystals are big enough to draw moisture out of the meat. This is a step in the preparation of meat according to kosher law, as all the blood and moisture must be drawn out of a meat before it's cooked.
So there are four main Jewish holidays that are celebrated, and there are a lot of different minor holidays, but these four are the main ones. The first one, Yom Kippur, is a Jewish holiday that represents the Day of Atonement, which is considered the most important day for the Jewish people. This originated when the Israelites were escaping from Egypt and arrived at Mount Sinai, where Moses got the Ten Commandments. And throughout the history, this turned to be the only day where the high priest could enter the inner sanctum of the Holy Temple, where he could encounter God. And this continued on until the destruction of the Second Temple, and adapted into a service for rabbis and their congregations in the modern era. During Yom Kippur, um, all all Jewish people begin to fast for 25 hours from food and drinks, everything. And this was believed to kind of like cleanse the body and the spirit from all the sins that um, the people have um, done against the Lord. And there is a lot of services and prayer services that are found during this day. And after the last prayer service, a breaking of the fast occurs, and it turns into a big feast where the kosher laws are still being practiced during this feast. The second, the second, the second tradition or holiday that is practiced for the Israelites is and the Jewish people is Sukkot, which is the 5 days after Yom Kippur that celebrates the protection God provided for Israel after Egypt. Now, what is really, really interesting about the Jewish people is and the Jewish culture is the way they are able to come from grief into praise and into celebration so quickly. And this is evident between the differences between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, and the different traditions that come into these celebrations. All the meals in Sukkot are eaten in a kind of ritual hut, and um, it's just one big feast where a common dish would contain a type of fish called gillifite fish, which is made from a poached mixture of ground deboned fish such as carp, whitefish, or pike. Now, for the Passover feast, this Passover represents the last meal that the Israelites had in Egypt. And this was right before they believe God delivered them from slavery into freedom. And because of this transition from slavery to freedom, there is a specific order that the Seder meal needs to be done. Um, now, these different foods that are found in the Seder meal represents a kind of um, memory that comes from the Israelites. So, for example, karpas is a vegetable that is usually parsley or celery that is dipped in liquid, which is usually salt water and eaten. Um, this is practiced because it allows the Israelites and the Jewish people to remember the saltiness and the bitterness that comes from the oppression that they had in Egypt. Um, Yakatz is the official breaking of the matzah. Matzah is considered unleavened bread, which is a really big important food item that originates in the early Israelite period and is still practiced and still eaten in the modern area today. Korset is the eating of the matzah in a sandwich with menor, and this food is the main dish during the Passover feast after the Seder meal. Now, for Hanukkah, Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days, and it originates from the story where in the temple there is an eternal flame that needs to be lit at all times. And they found out that there wasn't enough oil um, around before they could make more. But the oil lamp miraculously kept on burning for 8 days so that they can make more oil to keep the eternal flame going. Now, because of this miracle, all the foods that are eaten in Hanukkah is cooked in oil. Now, and foods, for example, that are like this is lakites, which is potato cakes that is fried in oil, and sofaganuk, which is a kind of donut fried dessert treat that is found in oil. Now, in conclusion, um, all these food laws, rituals, and traditions can be found in the books of the Hebrew Bible. And these laws were given to Moses on Mount Sinai when the Israelites were there. And the reason why the Lord gave these laws to the Israelites was to allow them to have accountability, to continue to follow the covenant that the Lord made with them. Now, there are so many different types of laws, including even food laws that we just talked about. And this is because the Lord urges his people to give glory to him in everything that they do so that the Lord can continue to bless them and give them what they need for the rest of their lives. So basically, um, this is this is all the kinds of food and rituals and food laws that are found in Judaism and how it affects the culture and religion to this day.
Thank you.
Thank you.